गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात्
साक्षात्
परब्रह्म
परब्रह्म तस्मै
श्री
गुरवे
नमः।
नमः।
ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितृवरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। अस्तो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सवीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। So a couple of weeks ago we started Vivekachudamani, another great scripture. So we are on verse number 9. उद्रेत आत्मनम मग्नम संसार वारिधो योग अरूढ़ त्वम असाध्ये सम्यक दर्शन निष्ठया. The key word over here is yoga arudha. Having attained the state of yoga arudha through continuous and well-established discrimination, one should lift oneself from the ocean of change and finitude, wherein one has come to be drowned. If you remember in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse number 4, the description of yoga arudha was given there. What did Lord Krishna say? When a person is not attached to sense objects or to actions and has renounced all thoughts, then he is said to have attained to yoga. So over here, Adi Shankaracharya is saying, having attained the state of yoga arudha through continuous and well-established discrimination. He is saying exactly the same thing. Discrimination means we have to discriminate between the right and the wrong, with the true and the untrue, with the temporary and the permanent. So that's why Lord Krishna is saying, when a person is not attached to sense objects, when we know the sense objects don't have the joy, sense objects are temporary, then why get attached to them? So when a person is not attached to sense objects, that doesn't mean a person doesn't have the sense objects, not attached. And attachment is always mental. So mind is not attached to or to actions. So that's like even rising above the actions, also doing the actions but not getting attached to the actions, and has renounced all thoughts. All thoughts means all worldly thoughts, and he's said to have attained yoga, and that is a yoga arudha. So in this verse, Lord Krishna is saying exactly the same thing, a little bit more elaborately. So that means the mind should neither wander in the sense objects, nor it should be gurgling out towards its desire. This is the sadhana we need to do. So when an individual has realized, see, this is the limitation which we have when we cannot control our mind. That means it's a limited mind we have. So if a person has realized his limitations and understands the importance of controlling the mind, redeeming from the weaknesses, and gaining mastery over the thoughts, then we can say it's a yoga arudha state. And it happens with through study, following the instructions of the scriptures, practices of self-control, and various other spiritual sadhanas. So that's why sadhana is very important. So they definitely help, but doing the sadhana is not the goal. Doing the sadhana to become, to realize that, hey, I am something other than these limitations. So the subtlety of the inner instrument. See, this mind is the inner instrument. Then we understand, yeah, this is a world outside. This is the Maya. It is as it is. It will be there, but I don't have to run after it. So this is what he's talking about over here when he says Samyak Darshan. Samyak Darshan means the right vision. Nishtaya. Nishtaya means firmly established. When you are grounded somewhere firmly, that is a Nishtaya. So Samyak Darshan, Nishtaya. Okay. So the perception of the world as it is. We don't have to run away from it, but we don't have to run towards it. So this is like a looking at the world with the eyes of the philosophy. So when we can say that we are established in yoga, that means our desires are not murmuring. Thoughts don't arise automatically. And then the thoughts do not arise. There will be a calmness in our mind. Because this restlessness of the mind is because of the thoughts. And through study, through satsang, through intelligent thinking, we really get to observe all this. So to get established in yoga is to make it a habit to strive sincerely, to rise above our own weaknesses in order to attain the idea. That's what yoga road is. Okay. So we all have different kinds of weaknesses, or these weaknesses change from day to day too. But to rise above this with the help of the means. So whatever I mentioned earlier, satsang or studies or sadhana, that's all to rise above the weaknesses. Sanyasya he sarv karmani bhav bandh vimukte yatyatam pandite dhire atmabhyas upasthite. May the wise and learned person give up all actions which are motivated by desires. And desires really means the selfish desires over here. And start the practice of rediscovering the self and thereby attain freedom from the bondage of birth and death. So clearly the goal is the freedom from the birth and the death. And how do we do it? He says, may the wise and the learned. See, Pandit. Pandit means learned. Dhire hai. Dhir is a person who has controlled the intellect also. That's a dhir. Okay, so wise and the learned. So it's after learning, after having full control over the intellect also, there is a more journey to accomplish. So that's what he says. Practice of self-rediscovery. It's not that we are creating the self, we are rediscovering the self and attain freedom from the bondage. If we know that who we are, only then there will be a freedom from what we are not. Otherwise, we are constantly drowning into what we are not. And that is the bhav bandh. See, bhav bandh vimukte. See, vimukte means freedom. And bhav bandh is bond of the worldly life. Otherwise, just this coming and going continues. So over here in this verse is giving us a piece of advice that all the theoretical knowledge is needed, but that's not where we need to stop. Use the theoretical knowledge to practice it ultimately, to know yourself. So renunciation of the activities, sanyasya sarva karmani, that doesn't mean that you stop doing the actions. That really means the doership, that I am doing it, you got to rise above that. Doing without taking the credit for it, without constantly thinking that I did it, I did it. Okay, so that is a sanyasya sarva karmani. Because we are breathing, we do eat, we do digest. Do we constantly keep on saying that I am breathing, I'm breathing, or I'm digesting, I'm evacuating? That is all happening all the time without us even knowing it. The same way we got to do in the external field also. Keep on doing it without thinking about that I need the credit for it. We got to reach to that level. Okay, that is a sanyasya sarva karmani. So to reduce our excitement about this, I have done it. Otherwise, what are we doing? We are really wasting a lot of energy. Sometimes we do this much, but we advertise this much. When we advertise, what happens? We are wasting our energy. So over here, clear.
I'm lost. What verse are we doing? What verse are we doing?
Number 10.
Oh, we are still on 10. I don't know. I went to 11.
Yes. Yes. No, we are still on the same one.
Okay.
Yeah, number 10. When I move to the next one, I'll recite the Sanskrit first, okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
I want you guys to understand it fully, each word
Yes.
over here, okay?
Yes.
So the reason in Bhagavad Gita also, in this scripture also, they say sanyasya sarva karmani, they just say don't waste your energy on it, thinking that you are doing it, you are doing it. That is like a path of intelligent living. Don't we, when we look at a person who's very helpful and doesn't want to even talk about it, just keep on doing, we say he's a very intelligent. We are drawn towards that kind of a person. But a person who does a little bit but wants to advertise more, we say he's a child. Okay, so he's not saying don't do it, definitely do it, but don't keep on advertising, don't keep on thinking that you are doing it. Okay, so sannyasi, because it gets very confusing for a lot of people. They think that he's saying that don't even do anything, sit down, do nothing. No, do, but doership has to go. So renunciation of false values is like we are staying away from the negative, but we got to keep on doing the positive aspect. So he says, let him practice the various means of self-discovery. So the energy which we saved from advertising that I'm doing it, use that energy to know yourself. Okay. Then next one, चितस्य शुद्धे कर्म न तु वस्तु उपलब्धे वस्तु सिद्धि विचारेण न किंचित कर्म कोटि भी. चितस्य शुद्धे, chit means the deeper part of mind, shuddh means pure, so that means pure mind. See, the deep mind will be pure if we are cleaning the deep mind, the outer mind is already pure, so the whole mind we are purifying. Vastu means object or essence or a thing. And vicharen means discernment, vichar karna. So selfless work and charitable acts help to purify the mind. but they do not by themselves contribute to the perception of reality. The discovery of the self is brought about only by discriminative analysis and never by any number of actions. Pretty deep verse. It's not that he is telling us don't do the charitable act or don't do selfless action. He says do that, do those, but do not stop your journey there. They are again only the means. By themselves, this is the key word, by themselves, they cannot contribute to the perception of reality. You are doing a lot of selfless service, lot of seva, lot of charity, and you think you're going to know yourself. No, you won't. It's just like if you buy a lot of organic food, you have it in your kitchen, you think that will satisfy you, your hunger? No, it won't. Sure, we need to work hard, buy good things to eat, but after that also we need to do something. The same thing he's telling us over here. By themselves, they do not contribute to the perception of reality. Perception of reality means knowing yourself, perceiving who you are. The discovery of the self is brought about only by discriminative analysis. Vichar is important, and never by any number of actions. Okay, so the paths of karam, they have certainly a place in the scheme of self-development. They are not unavoidable. Okay, just remember that. But they are only the instruments. Instruments for what? For the shuddhi. Chitasya shuddhye karam. Okay? They help us to clean our mind. The purer the mind, greater capacity to concentrate. That's why it's important. Because dirty mind, restless mind will not let us do any kind of a vichar, any kind of a reflection, any kind of a meditation. So purer mind has a greater capacity to concentrate. So selfless actions, he's saying, by themselves, do not let us take the flight to discover ourselves. Because you can see that two people are doing selfless actions together. Sometimes their ego is there involved. I'm doing more selfless than you do. Then there's no cleansing of the chitta. Okay? So self is not produced from the actions. That's what he's trying to tell us. सम्यग् विचारतः सिद्धा रज्जु तत्व अवधारणः भ्रांते उदित महासर्प भय दुख विनाशने. Now he's bringing that all-time famous example here. The fear and sorrow created by the delusory serpent on the rope can be ended only after fully ascertaining the truth of the rope, which is available for recognition only through steady and balanced thinking. Okay? It's dark outside or twilight outside, and there is a rope, and you think it's a snake, and you are afraid. How will that fear go away? Fear will go away only when there's enough light and when you can go there and check it yourself. A faithful friend or a near and dear can tell you all they want to. They can say, no, it's only a rope. Sometimes you even accept that statement also. But the real fear will go away only when we can go and check it out. So the same thing happens in us also. Unless we have experienced who we are, we can read about it, we can hear about it, but ultimately we have to experience this. Our own anubhav has to be there. So that's why he says the fear and sorrow created by the delusory serpent on the rope can be ended only after fully ascertaining the truth of the rope. And fully ascertaining is only when you can look at it with your own eyes or check it out yourself, which is available for recognition only through steady and balanced thinking.
हर्षी प्लीज वर्ड्स का मीनिंग बता दीजिए.
Okay. Samyag vicharataha. Okay. Samyak होता है like a fully vichar thinking. Siddha, perfect or perfectly accomplished. Rajju means rope. Tattva avadharnaha, conviction of the true nature. Tattva, tattva होता है real nature, the essence. Bhranti udit. Bhranti udit means the rising of the delusion. Maha means great. Sarap is a snake. Bhaya is the fear. Dukh is the suffering. Vinashani. Okay? Vinash is like a finishing up something, like an end of something. Vinash. Okay? So that's why I said fear and sorrow, which was created by the delusory sarp. It's like a second line first. See, sometimes it happens in Sanskrit, the way it's written. Sometimes we have to read the second line to understand the first line. Okay. So it's a very famous analogy of the serpent and the rope. So that it is never possible that one who has seen the rope as a rope will ever have the fear and sorrow. So once you have experienced it, nobody can put any doubt in your mind. The same way, if you know the reality, you have experienced who you are, then you never get deluded again. You know what the reality is. Okay, so this example, with the help of this example, we should go inward. We should try to see what the delusion is all about. Because fear and anxiety and the delusory, it's not only outside, it's inside also. So what he's again telling us over here, that you can do the good karmas. They are needed, but do good karmas alone will not make you experience who you are. Okay? So path of discriminative analysis is needed. अर्थस्य निश्चयो दृष्टो विचारेण हितो उक्तितः न स्नानेन न दानेन प्राणायाम शतेन व. अर्थस्य, that means the purpose. Nishchaya, inquiry. Drishtoho, seen. Vicharen, reflection. Hitokata, words of the wise. Snanen, the bath, the sacred, even a sacred bath. Bath in the Ganges. Snanen, that's what it means over here. Because sometimes people think I'll go to the Haridwar and just dip in that holy water. He says, no snanen, no danen, not the charity. Pranayam shaten. Shaten means hundreds. Hundreds of pranayams. So neither sacred baths, nor any amount of charity, nor even hundreds of pranayams can give us a knowledge about our own self. Okay. but a firm experience of the nature of the self can be gained when we send our thoughts along the rails of argument laid down in the advice of the wise. And wise over here means Guru. What Guru is telling us, listening, reflecting, and ultimately practicing, he says that's the only way. Not the holy bath, not the charity. Sure, they are good things to do. They prepare us. They are needed. Pranayam is needed to keep this body healthy, to keep this mind calm. Charity is needed because it's our duty to give also. Otherwise, we get too obsessed with what is ours. We got to detach from it. Sanan is needed. We need to keep our body clean. We got to keep our environment clean. So those are needed acts. But ultimately, after doing all that, what are we supposed to do? He's saying, go to your Guru. Listen to the Guru. Pay attention to what Guru is telling you. And then ultimately walk on that path. So do not stay only in the techniques. They are definitely helpful in the progress of the individual, but they are primary lessons. Primary. Okay? So this day, doing this, those are all preliminary techniques we were given. Okay? Techniques followed just like in the kindergarten, we followed certain techniques. But we did not apply the same techniques in university. They were there at that time. When we went into the higher grades, there were different techniques. So external methods of purification, baths, visit to the temples, sacred places, unselfish charities, exercises, they have a place, but not for the ultimate. So he's telling us the more subtle, intense practices we need to follow. And he is prescribing correct thinking. See, when he says vicharin, correct thinking and continuous self-analysis. See, the greater abhyas is called vichar. And atma vichar means something which has been taught by a rishi, a guru. See, hito upita means taught by the guru. Who has your hit in his mind? Hit means for your good. Why does guru teach? Guru doesn't need to teach. Guru teaches us for our benefit. Uktita means said. Hit means for our good. So each and every word of the Guru's mouth, which comes out of Guru's mouth, is for our good. That's a hito uktita. So it is for our redemption. We should, if we take it like this, that Guru is compassionate enough to keep on telling us, but ultimately we have to reflect upon it and practice it. Adhikarinam Ashashate Fal Siddhi Visheshatah Upaya Desh Kalyadhya Sanyat Asmin Sahakarina. Adhikarin means a qualified student, qualified aspirant. So ultimate success in spiritual endeavors depends entirely upon the degree of fundamental qualifications in the seeker. See, Phala Siddhi, Visheshata, that means Phala Siddhi means the success, the result which come out of it. Phala Siddhi, Upaya, to come near. Desh means place, Kal means time. So ultimate success in spiritual endeavors depends entirely upon the degree of fundamental qualifications in the seekers. Auxiliary conveniences such as time and place all have a place indeed, but they are essentially secondary. So this time, this place, they say that's all secondary. That's also needed, but secondary. Primary is our own qualifications. So that means we got to become qualified. Because normally people get disappointed as soon as the obstacles come on our path. So in order to remove the obstacles, we need to become further qualified. So qualification has to be increased. So adhikarinam shashate. So adhikari word is misinterpreted a lot of times. When people don't think deeply into this term. The qualifications, let me tell you, for a successful student, they have been enumerated again and again by this Acharya. And we'll see that in few verses after this. And you are all familiar with those Shamadam, Uprati, Titiksha. Those are the qualifications. Those are like a preliminary qualifications we need to have to walk on this path. And in detail, we'll talk about it when the time comes. But over here, he's just mentioning this word adhikari. Yes, Kim.
Urmilji has a question.
Yes, Urmil.
Sorry to interrupt you in the class, but can you here elaborate a little bit when you say we are taught by the Guru for our own redemption? I have read this word a lot, but in this context, can you elaborate on it, please?
Yeah, in this context, with the previous verse, that's where it came. What he is trying to tell us, that pay attention to the words spoken or the upadesh given by the Guru. Okay, those words are very important. Just like the preliminary task was important before, but now when we are at this level, the words spoken by the Guru, we got to think about it and ultimately live our life according to those words, because he is saying it for our good, for our hit. Okay, so this is what hit uktita means. Okay. Because sometimes we think that we are doing a favor to a Guru by listening to Guru, but it is the other way around. Guru is saying it for our benefit, our hit. Guru has already realized the truth. Guru is one with God, but Guru has come down at our level, showing us the path also. That's what it really means. So these words need to be reflected upon and practiced ultimately. Okay. So you will see, Urmil, it will become more and more clear, because the way this book is written, he just goes back and forth to make sure that we understand these words fully. Initially, it seems like he did not clarify it enough, but it will come. Just like over here, adhikari, the qualified. After a few verses, he'll go over the details who adhikari is. Okay. So if the success on the spiritual path is slow or unsatisfactory, then we need to look at it. Are we doing what we are supposed to do? Are we adhikari or not? Adhikari means qualified. Have we brought our qualifications up to the mark or not? There could be some clogs there in our own mind. Maybe some narrow-mindedness in us. Maybe we are not opening all the channels for us to grow. So we need to do all that to achieve more progress. Because sometimes we are making an effort, but there's a clogging somewhere. Maybe there are some personal desires over there which are stopping us. Yeah. So in order to move up, we got to have all those qualifications met. Because it's very easy to just blame somebody else. It's like if I buy a new computer and somebody told me it's the best of the best, and I turn it on, and I don't even know how to operate it. And then I start complaining that somebody cheated me. Or if you buy a new car and you did not put the right kind of a gasoline there, and car is not running properly. Whose fault is it? The same thing happens on this path of spirituality too. Okay, so we got to keep on doing what we need to do to become a better qualified. Know how to troubleshoot where the problem is, because some seekers, they just wait for a better time. See, that's why he used the word desh and kal. They say the time is not right for me yet, or the place is not right, or a greater master will initiate me, only then it will happen. But we got to look at ourselves. Okay, so sure, time, place, everything is important, but not as important as the qualifications we need to cultivate. Okay, so without the needful inner adjustments, even if a sadhak means a seeker, is placed under the best conditions of time and place, will not be able to make use of them. Okay, so those are secondary. Primary is our own readiness. Are we ready? And I told you that these prerequisites to become an adhikari is mentioned in detail in verse 16 and 17. Okay, so in just a couple of more verses. So number 15. Ataho vicharaha kartavyaho jigyasad atma vastunah samasadhye daya sindhum guru brahm vidutmam. Ata means therefore. So after you become adhikari, uttam level of adhikari. Next week I'll bring some sayings from my own Guruji's scriptures. So who is the uttam adhikari? Who is like a topmost adhikari? Who is a middle level adhikari? And who is the bottom adhikari? There are degrees to that also. So over here he says, ataha, therefore, vichar, reflection, kartavyo, what must be done? Kartavya, duty. Jigyasa, earnest desire to know. About what? Atma vastunaha. Sama sadhye, duly approaches Daya Sindhu, ocean of compassion, Guru. So he is calling a Guru Daya Sindhu, ocean of compassion. Brahma Vidyut Uttamam, supreme knower of the absolute. Therefore, a true seeker of the self should learn to inquire and meditate after duly approaching a guru who is himself established in the experience of the self and who is an ocean of kindness. Okay, so clearly he is telling us to become a great shishya, great disciple, a great seeker, seeker of yourself, and then duly approach the guru. And then he's giving us the qualifications of a guru also. So this is the endeavor of a true seeker to get ready, to prepare yourself, and but then find a true master, approach him to get initiated into the methods of inquiry through the process of meditation. So it's not just only approaching the guru and then your job is done. Then only you have enrolled into that school. Then the real serious studies begin there. So true guru is described in this verse. So guru should definitely be a man of experience. Also have a large heart. This Daya Sindhu means a large heart. What is a large heart? Heart which is full of compassion. Guru does not judge us. Guru doesn't say that you are nothing. Oh, I have attained this, you are nothing. No. Guru has a full of kindness, sympathy for all kinds of seekers. Guru understands some seekers are like an Uttam Adhikari. Some may be in the middle, some may be just started right now. Guru understands that too. That is the Daya Sindhu. So this is a very indispensable requisite. Without this, we cannot progress further. According to all our Upanishads, all the scriptures, they say that. And the word sadhya, it's a very powerful word. Duly approaching. It really pinpoints the mental attitude. Duly approaching. Mental attitude with which a seeker should approach the master. Only then we will get the maximum benefit. If you already know that we know so much, we just go there just to have a little discussion only, then we are not duly approaching. So that means reverence has to be there. This understanding that I am going to learn something from somebody who already knows. So that kind of a reverence, that kind of a respect has to be there. But if you think, no, I'm going to just only have a intellectual discussions or arguments, then that is not sama sadhya. Okay. So it's 11:15. Anybody, any question? If you don't have a question, then I would like to do one more, or we can just stop it here and discuss whatever we have already discussed. Choice is yours.
Can we discuss it, please?
Stop it here.
No, discuss it. Discuss.
Discuss, yeah. Okay, all right, sure, we can discuss. Yeah, what is your question?
I need to understand if I'm understanding this correctly. I'm getting the feeling that in this book, the discernment on the part of the seeker, the thoughtfulness, the analysis, self-analysis is even higher than the action. Am
Yes.
I right?
Yes, you are right. You're right, because this book, this Vivekachudamani, is telling us actions you have been doing.
Okay.
Okay, that's why this is not for the beginners.
Okay.
So you already been doing Karam Kand. You know the prerequisites. You have prepared yourself quite a bit. But now you have to take a upper flight.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why if somebody just reads this, literally they'll think that he's putting down the actions. No, he's not putting down the actions. He says actions you have been doing and keep on doing it.
Mhm.
They were only the preparations. It's just like in the morning, I do my hatha yoga. That is a preparation so that this body stays healthy. But all day long, if I keep on doing that, that won't be very wise, right? So do the actions, whether the action of a charity or action of a selfless work or even your own duties, do those. But then there is something else we are here we have come here to do, which is to know ourselves. That is a self-inquiry.
Yeah.
Spend some time for that also.
Yes.
Okay. So this book is definitely uh, I mean, he goes back and forth. Sometimes it gets a little confusing, but actually, if you look at it, the purpose of this book is to make us understand that hey, there's only one job here for me to do, which is to know myself. See, we forget that we keep on doing other things.
Right.
Other things do it, but those secondary. Primary is to know myself.
Makes a lot of sense though, because if I keep doing something over and over
Yes.
without paying a lot of attention to the purpose behind it, the intention behind it,
Yeah.
it's the combination of the action, the intention, the analysis.
Yeah.
It's the combination is what I'm getting there,
Mm-hmm.
Anji.
Yes, Kim.
Jyoti has a question.
Yes, Yoti.
So Hershji, you said do self-inquiry, contemplate and all that. So when you're doing that, is that done in the meditation?
Yeah, that can be done in a meditation also. That can be done in the contemplation also. See, just like when we read this, after that, sit down and think.
Okay.
Think. Who am I?
Okay.
Where did I come from? Where will I go? That is a inquiry. That means you are using your mind and intellect, because the same mind and intellect we have been using to know this world. But now we want to use the same to know ourselves. That's a self-inquiry. Self means the real self. Who am I? That me, which was here when I was a baby. That me is here even now at this age. That did not change. Did I ever pay attention to that self? Or did I just keep looking after this body? Because we have spent lot of time on this body, exercising it, feeding it, polishing it, bragging about it, worrying about it.
Right.
How
So
much time we have spent, and how much time we have spent in knowing our real self, which is going to leave. So you can do it during meditation also. You can do it after studying something also. You can do it while writing also. Sometimes it's good to take down the notes. Write whatever comes to your mind. Who am I? You don't have to show it to anybody. If you're a good poet like Urmil, maybe write down as a poetry. Who am I? Whose footprints I'm following? What kind of a footprints I'm leaving behind? Who Who am I? Do I really know? We got to think about it.
Okay.
Okay, this we can do it only as a when we are in this kind of a higher level of Sharir, the subtle part. Okay, a dog cannot think like this, only human beings can. So we need to do the self-inquiry is very, very important. Otherwise, we just waste. That's why he said it again and again. Sanan, Dan, Karam, all those things. If we just keep our progress at that level, it's not enough. Okay, those are needed, but hey, for what? To know yourself. Yes, Kim.
Urmilji?
Can we all have some, let's say we all contemplate and we have an answer. I like to listen to answers because I don't have an answer. I don't know what my answer should be, or who am I and where I have to go, what footprints I am leaving. I don't know how to answer those questions. So I would like to hear if anybody else has been able to find answers to those questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody should, maybe this should be the homework for this class.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What others are thinking, because I'm blank.
Yeah.
I think I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's why to think about it. It's just like a deeply think, and in order to think deeply, you have to disassociate yourself from the temporary. Okay? Temporary means, because otherwise the temporary answers we can have many. I'm leaving the wealth for my children. I'm leaving what I did. I mean, there's so many things we are leaving. I'm leaving my library for my children, or whatever. Or even my clothes for my children to clean up or burn after I die. There could be many answers. But in the real sense, what are we leaving behind? What really matters? Yeah, this is a good homework. Do it this week. And then we can talk about it next time. Yes.
Yeah,
This is what he's telling us to
I
do.
have 0 marks so far.
Yes, Kim.
Prem has a question.
Yes, Prem.
Actually, my question is kind of connected with the Urmulaji's question. You know, when you again and again say, contemplate on who I am, I get stuck. Okay, I know I'm Atma. I'm not this body. But then I get a little stuck there and say, okay, what next? You know, I can't spend a lot of time on that because I already know I'm Atma. So maybe we need to somehow get some help as to how to think further. And like, okay, I'm Atma, but how do I get to know this Atma much more in detail, in closely, rather than just knowing that I'm Atma?
Okay, that you will know only in meditation.
Okay.
Because that's why you meditate. You want to know who you are. After thinking it through, after studying it, then this is the practice.
Okay.
I want to know who I am. And then it's not a small answer then.
Okay.
That I am Atma. Wow, I'm Atma.
Okay.
Then it is so expansive. It's everywhere. It's not a small.
Okay.
Just like Lord Krishna said, I'm in the sun also, moon also, tree also, Ganges also, Himalaya also, lion also, king also.
Okay.
It becomes so big.
Mm.
It doesn't stay small.
Okay.
Okay? So that experience, that happens from the experience.
I see.
So once you experience it, then it is not small. It is just so big you can't even put it into words.
So Atma is just the name.
That is just a name given. You can call it anything you want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody called it Atma, some said soul, some said self, some said Paramatma, some said
Right.
Brahm, some said whatever you want to call it.
That's just the name.
That's just a name. You got to experience it.
Yes, yes.
Wow, I didn't know I was that. I thought I was just this body,
Yeah,
5 feet something.
yeah, yeah.
With this
4
name,
feet something.
or 4 feet something, or just this color, or this name, or living in this. No, I am a lot more than that. So that is a wow experience.
Okay,
And that's what he wants us to have, the wow experience.
okay.
And this wow experience can happen only when we are in this human body.
Yes.
Okay. And that should be our, I mean, when we get up in the morning, we should be like see, just like something you really love. If your children are coming home after a long time, you're waiting for them. Oh my God, they're coming, they're coming. So this is, we should have in the morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to just meditate. That kind of excitement. Instead of thinking, oh my God, I got to meditate again. Right? So it's just like, because you really know, you will know yourself slowly, or all of a sudden. I don't know. How will it happen to you?
Yeah, yeah.
It all depends what kind of a preparation we have done. Right now, we are preparing ourselves by studying, by contemplating, by reflecting, by giving, while just like to the kids I was saying, little kids, even with the help of these celebrations like a Halloween. I was telling the kids, this is to bring happiness on somebody else's face this Halloween. Because when you give a candy to some child, what happens? Smile. So these celebrations are also taking us, if we understand these celebrations in the right light, they are taking us towards this wow moment.
Thank you.
Can I just share a Halloween moment?
Yes.
Yesterday, somebody rang the bell and I wasn't expecting anybody. So, I went to the door, but there was nobody there. There was just a bag left at the doorstep. So, and I, looked at that, I looked around everywhere to see who might have left a bag, but there was nobody in the vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
Then I opened the bag and it was a bag full of chocolates.
Mm-hmm.
With a message in there saying you've been booed. So enjoy what you got, but do the same for 2 other people in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a nice, feeling that somebody was thinking. I'm thinking, trying to figure out who could have been, but it was just, it was a good feeling. So it's like giving back.
Giving back, helping somebody.
So,
and it shouldn't be only during holidays. We should try to do this more and more. And that is like automatically we will be lifted up. Because we are all one. Because Lord Krishna said in many different ways, I am everywhere. I am everywhere. Right? So it's not, so to answer your question again, Prem, so this Atma is not a small thing. Okay? It's the biggest thing. It's everywhere.
I actually know it's a huge, huge, huge thing. I just don't know how to pursue it.
It's okay. Pursuing is, that's what he is going to, that's why we are studying, right? We are all learning,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
yes.
hopefully with the help of these great teachers. So today's, all these verses, what he is pointing our mind towards is that, hey, keep your eye towards that ultimate goal.
Right.
He's not saying that don't do the preparation, but do not stop at the preparation. Okay?
Because that's only preparation.
Those are preparation, those are important. Just like I said earlier, I gave you the example of buying the groceries. That is important. If I don't buy the groceries, I can't cook.
You cannot cook.
And I cannot feed the family or feed myself. So preparations are needed. But we just don't want to buy the groceries and let it rot on our counter. Right? You want to make sure that you use it also for the ultimate purpose. The same way, all these preparations are very important, but those are the means, not the end. Okay. So, anybody else?
So much.
Yes, yes, Soma.
So, Harshi, if we practice everything, as per scriptures and, so do you think like in a lifetime we might experience that wow moment, or is it like still depends on, like, do you think we can experience it still?
It all depends how diligently we practice. So it can happen in one lifetime. It can happen right away also. And it can take several lifetimes also. It all depends. Okay. But what we need to do is our part. Keep on doing, because fall. See, like a wow moment is a fall. So that is in God's hands. Okay. We got to do our part. And then leave the fruit in his hands. And he is, if the Guru is compassionate, God is compassionate too. God is looking at us. God is watching us. God knows. Even, but let me tell you, even a small practice we do earnestly, sincerely, God shows the signs. Why? To encourage us. You will see that sometimes you are sitting in your meditation room. You will smell the flowers which are not even there. That is a sign. That's a wow moment. Sometimes you're looking for something and it appears. That's a wow moment. And I'm sure these things happen to you here and there, right? So those are all wow moments. And then remember, those are in your dream. You see your Guru or your God, the form of God. That's a wow moment. Remember those. So God encourages us by showing us these signs again and again. So this is in God's hands. In our hand is what? Keep on practicing. Keep on becoming more and more adhikari. Okay? Adhikari means qualified. Are you qualified to be called a God's servant or not? And he's going to talk about it in the next couple of verses. You'll see that. And most of you already know, but still it's good to go through it again and again. Okay, because we need to, while doing everything else, we got to make sure that we become a Uttam Adhikari, the topmost Adhikari, topmost qualified person.
Harvard.
We did that. We worked very hard to achieve that position in the corporation, or to get A pluses.
Yeah.
Worked very hard. I still remember when I was doing my degree in this country, I just wanted to get only A's, like nothing less than A. One teacher, I remember, it was a American history class. She gave me A minus. And I got so upset. I was 19 or 20 at that time. I told her, I said, I have never gotten A minus in my life. I don't accept it. So that kind of, I really had a big argument with her. She says, I have never given anybody even A minus. This is the highest I can give. I said, it's not good enough for me. I want A. So I think outer world, we have done that. I'm sure all of you have done that in your own areas.
So then what happened, Harshi?
Oh, I got A plus in the finals. Yeah, I wouldn't let it go. I always had that kind of fire in me. So, but in this sphere also, we should have the same kind. We don't want to leave ourselves at the lower levels, right? So anyway, let's stop it here. I don't think we have a singer today, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. What are you thinking, Neeta?